Oh boy, it's once again we're here. I am Jerry Clark, aka the legendary Jerry. This is Storytime with legendary Jerry. I have my brother Newface here. The reason I'm laughing because this brother right here, we got a whole different Newface. We got a whole different type personal relationship, man. I love this brother. I respect this brother, and in a lot of ways, I look up to this brother. So we not even gonna wait to introduce one of Atlanta's, I mean, should I even say unsung hero? Because he's definitely a hero. He's definitely a hero in this music business. This brother Nitti Beatz has done so much, man. I want y'all to welcome this week's episode, Storytime with legendary Jerry, super producer.
Legendary.
Super producer.
Man, I appreciate any type of love
Nitti
like that.
Beatz, man. It's a Nitti Beat.
Man,
it's a Nitti Beat.
Man, we still going.
Hey man, you ain't stopped and you stay relevant.
Yeah,
and you still. I know you invited me out a few months ago.
Yeah,
and that was really, and don't get mad at me for saying this, but that was really one of the first times I saw your range. I knew you had a lot of range.
Okay,
but Nitti, the shit you played for me, it wasn't no urban shit. And I said, Newface, I said, this nigga is doing this type shit, like some other type. Pop, mainstream, like all
on my album.
Where, on your album. Where, just walk us into your mind frame, man, and your whole because like I say, your range, man, is so incredible, bro.
No, thank you, bro. I mean, I appreciate you coming out there. Number one, because I didn't want everybody to be out there. I wanted people that I trust their opinions and I value their minds. So you one of the people that I was like, I told my assistant, he gotta be here if nobody else don't be there. So with the album, I just, honestly, man, I took about 4 or 5 years and in my mind, I made the best piece of work I ever put together. You know what I mean? So as a producer, I think to go down in history as one of the great producers, you gotta make you a body of work and call it an album. You know, so this is gonna be the one that I'm gonna give to people.
Is this your chronic?
Yeah, this gonna be my chronic.
Okay.
You know, so with me, you know, every producer that, you know, we work with so many different artists and sometimes we'd be like, man, we wish we could have talked some shit on that. That's how artists are doing. You know, so with me, I just had time to put together an album, you know, and I was like, you know what, let me put it together, take my time because, you know, I don't need to get no budget from no label or nothing like that. So I'm funding the whole thing myself and everything. So, you know, I just wanted to put something together to make people say, you know what, we understand him as a creator now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about.
What's your opinion on the state of urban music right now, Nitti?
Man, I think we are on a reboot right now. I think that the urban music right now, we went through a violence, a dark era. And I think, you know, what I always did was I was always a producer to come in there and I want to throw whatever the labels got planned to put out. I want to put a record out, a single on somebody and make them say, you know what, we got to go back to the drawing board because this motherfucker Nitti and came with a record that we didn't even see coming. You know, because a lot of labels, they take years or months to set up an artist to come up with a single. So with me, if you go back and look at my career, I always been a producer to try to give an artist a single.
Shit,
so when a lot of people,
damn great job of that, man.
No, I appreciate it, bro. And I just, you know, that's been my whole goal was to, I want to make people move with my music. I don't want just that record that's on the album that people be like, oh, it was on that album? Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's why any artist I work with, you know, I was talking with somebody this morning about it. Even, you know, the Rich Homie Quan record that I did with my brother DJ Spence, you know, the Flex record. Sunday at the Falcons game was the first time me and Rich Homie Quan ever spoke.
In person?
Yeah, we never had a conversation.
Wow.
I don't know him.
That's his biggest fucking
I was
record.
gonna say.
Yes, and you know the funny part was when I seen him, he was cutting through, and because we had never talked, you know, we never had a conversation, and we talked real briefly, and you know, we talked about doing some more records coming up pretty soon.
A new face, as they should. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
that was a bang. I mean, that's how he closed out all the shows.
Really? Yeah, Quan is a beast, man. And
shout out to Rich Homie Quan.
Yeah, shout out to them boys.
Pretty Boy
man.
Tank. What up, though?
Yeah, man. And R.I.P. to Rich Homie Meat, man. That was one of Quan's partners that passed from the East Side. So condolences to Meat and his, family and everybody.
So we celebrate 50 years of hip hop, and we're gonna continue celebrating this culture and this music. Now, I've said this on several other shows that Nitti, the South, specifically Atlanta, we didn't control this motherfucker over half them 50 years.
Yeah.
And you have been firmly with both hands all the way in what has happened with not just the South, but nationally, worldwide. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I want to jump into like just some of, where your mindset, because I mean, like I said at the beginning of the show, man, I truly do look up to you and I respect you on a whole different level.
Thank you, bro.
Musically, man, I just be sitting back like, this nigga's a fucking beast. New Face, I'm like, this nigga's a fucking beast, man.
Yeah,
and
man.
I look back on, you got a lot of big records. I look back on Boys in the Hood, them boys, and I look back on, of course, the Young Jock record, going down, and I just be like,
what you know about Miss B?
Miss B.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss B, man. That's my little sister for life. I ain't talked to her little crazy. Yeah, she hit that bitch with a bottle. We got lawsuits and everything, man, behind that.
Hit that bitch. Where's she at, man?
I don't know, lady. Man. I don't talk to her like that. I hadn't seen her, so I wish I did talk to her, but I don't talk to her like that, unfortunately. But she real talented, little pretty girl from the West Side, man. She did her thing, man. Shout out to Miss B.
So yeah, what I was saying, since y'all jumped around, we get back. Mm-hmm. Where were you at, man? Musically, personally, because between just, and like I said, you got so many records, and I want to touch on a lot of other stuff musically, but between just those two records, where was you at, man?
To Hit the Bitch with the Bottle and what other record?
No, I was talking about Jog Them Boys. I see you. I see you.
It's going down.
It's going down.
And
them boys.
Oh, I mean, them boys was
Man, put that lame ass Rudy Poo ass phone up, nigga.
Oh man, you ain't supposed to hear that. You can't hear number one ear. Deaf nigga going on 72. No, I'm just playing.
We do this shit. If you see us all, we trying to really be serious right now.
Yeah, this one of my brother, my daddy had. Not my mama, but my daddy had this nigga probably. But now, back to real talk though. Let's get back to Miss B. The Hit the Bitch with the Bottle record, that actually was a remix. So they brought the record to me. They didn't like the beat.
But that ain't the record we was talking about.
What record you talking about? Who you want to talk about?
Them boys is going
down.
Them
boys.
I said them boys ain't going down.
Okay, so them boys. Let's go back to them boys.
Sped listening.
Crazy as Lakewood nigga. Back to the them boys. Them boys was a record that.
Hey man, while we doing this show, man, look, I got somebody calling. Like the first time we get a FaceTime call while we live. Hey y'all, we Storytime with Legendary J. Look at this nigga K Dub, comedian K Dub. Shout out to K Dub, y'all. This Storytime. We get FaceTime calls on. Look at it.
Dub, show love.
Look, the screen's so black. He blend right into the screen.
Luther,
smile, nigga. We can't see you.
What up,
nigga.
Luther?
Edit that one out, man.
Y'all like y'all government. What's up, man? Oh, puss ass nigga. What's happening with you, man? Let me tell y'all something. Storytime with Legendary Jerry. This dude K Dub. We was talking about him off camera.
Yes, indeed.
This is one of the most talented comedians, man. We just waiting on him to blow, and he's gone. Oh, now he cut the light. God, no, turn it up, boy. Use a boy. Golly, boy, turn it up.
That boy Dub. There you go.
That nigga so ugly, boy. He takes showers in swimming trunks, boy.
Turn that light back off, dude.
That nigga takes showers in swimming trunks, boy. Look at. Hey man, we just had to look. We gonna call you once we get finished doing this great interview. Storytime with Legendary.
And we need you on here, K Dub.
Comedian K Dub on this bitch, man. So look, you gonna have your final little 2 minutes of fame, glass, puss sad. We gonna hit you back, man. But yeah, though.
Okay.
So with those two records we was talking about.
Yeah. With the Them Boys record, man, that was shout out to my homie Block. Block was that's my partner, man, from the East Side, man. We've been partners way prior to the music, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog, man. But Block used to come up to the studio we had on Candler Road.
Yeah.
And at the time, Block was he was just getting into the music game, and he was like, Nitti, man, I need a record for an artist he named Big Gee. Mm-hmm. So Edge Big Gee, Edge Hanger, man. I'm talking about that was I'm still a fan, you know what I mean? But that record, Them Boys, was supposed to be his record originally. Mm-hmm. I made the beat and Big Gee rapped the whole record on the song.
Oh, and shout out to Big Gee. Big Gee is a dope ass lyricist.
Big Gee killed it.
And his voice.
And Block, they sat on the record probably about a month. And then Block was like, man, I want to do a group with Trick Daddy, Jeezy, or somebody, and Lil Wayne. But anyway, he ended up putting Boys in the Hood together. So Boys in the Hood ended up getting on the Them Boys beat. They took Big Gee off and left him on one verse. And that's how that record came out to be. So by the time people heard Them Boys, the record was about at least a year old. And the beat was about 2 years old. And I never tracked the beat out. So what you hear on Them Boys is my 2-track mix.
Get the record that was released?
Mm-hmm. I did the same thing with It's Going Down.
Hold on.
I did a 2-track mix on it.
Them Boys is a 2-track, the record that came out on.
Yeah, Them Boys and Going Down, both of them a 2-track mix. But that was something that I learned. I spoke with Pharrell a couple of times and some of the older producers that worked with No Limit and stuff. And they told me that most of their records they did were 2-track records because sometimes engineers can't get the record sounded how you want it to sound. So that was a trick that I did.
So it all comes down to the mix.
Mm-hmm. The mastering.
The mix and master.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but yeah, I mean, them was 2 of my records that I love to this day that when I hear them, I just look at the reaction and the reaction is still the same. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful and appreciative because of that though.
And to watch that one grow because like you said, you sat on that for months. Then they transitioned from Gee to adding new people like a Jody and Duke and Jeezy. And then you get the Bad Boy South. So when the final product come out, it's Bad Boy South. Like, and you started as a baby. How did that feel to see it, eclipse like that big though?
I mean, it was a blessing, man, because the only thing I wanted to do in Atlanta was to get noticed as a producer. I went to LaFace and met with homies like KP and Kalon, K Phillips. You know what I'm saying? They was A&Rs down there. So I would go down there every weekend trying to submit remixes and stuff. So I just couldn't get in that clique. I couldn't get in the Dungeon Family clique. So I was like, you know what? I got to try to make
my own.
Yeah. So I met one of my homegirls that was out of Memphis. She introduced me to 8 Ball. And it was like, he pulled up on me at Magic City parking lot, let the window down. I threw him a CD through with 32 beats. He let the window up, pulled off, and he ended up about 30 days later, he hit me recording, rapping in my ear on the phone, and he gave me $32,000, about 8 beats, and that was the launch of my career.
Damn. 8 Ball.
And Stop Playing Games.
Shout out to 8 Ball, MJG, them Memphis boys, man. I love them boys, man.
I hadn't talked to Ball probably in a couple of years, but Ball is going to always be, he's like one of the GOATs and somebody who I always got to be thankful to. That launched my career, you know what I mean. So I can't never forget that, man. But it was a good time.
Now go ahead, New Face.
Be in that verses, like I remember being in that verses, just to because it's hard to pick 20 songs and for your record to be one and seeing Dro come out. How did that feel to see years later that was one of the ones they picked? Because I'm sure they got hits, right? But you was one of them ones. Your beat was one of them ones.
Man, it was big, man. Because like. Because I grew up listening to them boys, 8 Ball and JG, man, when they came out there and Joe came out there and did the verse, man, I was like, man, it just gave me chills because, those are 2 artists that I just look up to and be like, anything they do is like classical.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing, man, to see people rocking out to it and, just to see the people, they love the music that I gave them, and I'm having a good time with this, man. I can't wait to give them some of this new stuff though.
Well, I can't wait either, man.
New face,
because when I tell you, man,
I wish you was there though.
Yeah. He everywhere fucking else. He wasn't there.
No, we're gonna do another one then because I recorded like 10 new records since then. So
New Face definitely need to be in there.
Yeah. So I got one of the records that one of the records that's on there everybody kind of liking is the one with Plies. So I got a record with Plies. When Plies come with a record, he always come with something that shut the club down.
Let me tell you something.
In the internet.
He heard it though.
Man, that shit. And New Face, let me tell you what even blew me away.
That little boy.
just from being in this session, hearing all this new music from Nitti, is his son. Like he grooming. We always say grooming in a negative way, but he's literally grooming his son to be that next super producer like himself. When I heard this little nigga, boy,
he producing, yeah.
Hey man, he producing, man. He just let's get on your song for me.
Yeah.
did that shit just come natural, or did you kind of be like, all right, son, here go a drum machine, here go a keyboard, or was he just watching you?
Man, to be honest, man, I know, I ain't no preacher or nothing, but I prayed for that little dude.
Yeah.
I prayed to give God, number one,
works.
I prayed to get a son, and I wanted him to, do what I do.
Yeah.
And since he's been a baby, man, like I've been letting him mess with instruments, and he watched me more than I knew he was watching. So with him, it's just one of them things where I'm so proud that he caught it so quick.
Yeah.
I taught him one time how to make some beats and stuff, and man, he got a catalog right now that he built. He's got about.
And how old?
He just turned 15, man. He just had a birthday in November.
Oh wow!
So he's somebody who
he dope, man.
Thank you.
He dope, man.
Yeah, we got to get him down here one day, man, because he got a clothing line right now, doing real good. It's called Rule Breakers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Rule Breakers Club. So he's got that going on, man. But he's a little guy that he's so mature. He scared me sometimes with his conversation. And getting a little mustache and stuff now, so I'm starting. He's kind of scaring me, man. Because he's getting older.
How did it affect him for him to be in the studio with you with all those male strippers that used to be in there with the thongs and stuff?
Well, that's a lie. Number one, that's not true. Nah, man. You used to be a comedian, man.
I ain't know. I mean, did that kind of like that
influence?
Hey, man, nah, he know his daddy a G, man. He know that, man. Like that's my little dog.
Storytime with legendary Jerry, man. Once again, I'll say this, man. New face, Nitti Beatz. This is a legendary super producer, man.
Thank you,
that
bro.
I feel should be getting his flowers. That's what we do on this show. We bring people on. They should get their flowers. And this man, like I said before, he's had his thumbprint all over, not just Atlanta and the South, but worldwide. And
you deserve your flowers too, bro. Like, man, let's not. Don't you be humble over here, bro. Real talk, man. Like, people I'm glad that you got this platform, and you too, New Face. Like, I'm glad that y'all want to talk to me and hear what come out of my mind and stuff, because, like, I watch y'all. I'm a kind of person that just research a lot, so I watch what y'all do, man. And y'all are like some people that we've been needing a long time, because the only thing we had in Atlanta was a bunch of artists and rappers and producers. But now we got people like y'all.
Voices. We got our voices.
Yeah,
we're telling our stories.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody from the A, from the South. We telling the story time of legendary Jerry. We getting these stories out there. Much love to my cats in New York and LA and all that. But this right here, story time with legendary Jerry. This in Atlanta. This is down south, and we go tell our stories, because it's a lot of stories like this brother right here, man.
And I gotta say personally, like every time I've seen him out, even supporting the comedians, like Tip gets a lot of credit for being in the comedy scene, but this brother, like, I was supporting the Nard and the Carlos and K-Dub, but I just see this brother there doing the same thing, supporting my friends, essentially. Like, and he always showed love to me, even online every once in a while. Keep going. We just seen each other at the game. And just know, like, I just appreciate that, because I just always tell people I never know who's watching. You know what I'm saying? Just stay doing you. So I definitely appreciate you doing those type of things. And you talked about remixes and trying to sell some, and you go back to, shout out to Wicked and Nino, man. So Decatur remix.
Indicator.
Indicator.
Yeah.
How did that one come
Ghetto
about?
Mafia.
And those were some legends at that point.
Man, I did that beat for like $500. And because that was like the first record I did that hit the radio. And every time I seen Nino and Wicked at the Falcons game, and every time I see them, because I grew up, man, I don't know if you know their history or heard their albums and all that, but they was really one of them groups that was about that life.
Some real street niggas.
Yes.
And I mean,
shout out Nino and Wicked.
Shout out Nino and Wicked.
It wasn't no fluffy.
Don't let that clean face smooth fool you, man. Them boys been putting in work out here, man.
Niggas, they weren't playing the radio.
They was over there in Clarkson and stuff, man. But nah, I mean, when we did that record, it was a remix to a record that actually the guy that did the record, they gave me the opportunity to do the remix, and I always loved older records, so I went back and replayed a record. I didn't want to sample it, so I replayed "Can't Hide Love" by Earth, Wind and Fire, and then we put some of the guys from the group called Silk to sing the "Ooh I Ghetto My."
Shout out to
that
Silk,
right there.
One of Atlanta's first R&B acts to get on.
Yeah, so it was just a blessing, man. And then by it being the name of the record called Indicator, and I'm from Decatur, I was like, you couldn't tell me nothing for about about 2 weeks, I was on a cloud.
What you do with that $500?
Oh man, I went and bought them J's.
First you was at South Cam Mall.
I was at Walters.
Boy, as soon as you get that shit gone.
Oh man, you couldn't tell me nothing. And then right after that, Raheem Dream came and paid me another about 1,000. And then he probably gave.
How were you at this? How were you?
Oh man, this was 19. Woo, this was 98.
Oh, so you
97. You know what I mean? So I was just a young buck getting out the streets, man. You got to think I came from being over in the bluff, trying to survive to I'm in somebody's studio. So I didn't know nothing. I was out there trapping, to be honest. Man. You know what I'm saying? But that's why when people see me making beats, they were like, nigga, you ain't been making no beats. Where the hell you come from? But they didn't know I came out of church prior to hitting the streets.
And speaking of the streets, you got an interesting story, or I should say stories.
Okay. All right, come on.
Hey, because first of all, rest in peace to the late Shawty Low, man. We miss you.
Hello.
We love you. But you back when you was in the streets, man, you dipping and dabbing over there in the west side, all Bankhead, and you from what I hear, I mean, I don't know, I do a lot of research on this.
How you know about this? I think you about to say something. How you?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Hey, man, I do a lot of research, man, and I've been around in this Atlanta. I've been around, from the streets to the suites. Yeah. And like I say, rest in peace to Shawty Low. And Shawty Low was he was a real thorough ass dude.
Yeah,
we gonna say that.
Yeah.
So when you was in the streets, I hear from what I hear, y'all had a couple of run-ins.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be where y'all was amicable years later.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about it now, man. Like, Shawty Low, rest in peace, man. He was out there doing his thing. And let's just say me and my people were doing our thing.
Yeah.
So what happened with that situation, just because I don't want to go into too many details, but basically some stuff, it's like when you got the bad guy meet the bad guy, and then the other bad guy get the up on the bad guy.
Something is going.
So somebody had to take the L. Yeah, so at that point, I took the L. I got caught down bad, and
some niggas was trying to rob you.
I don't want to go into detail, but some street stuff went on, and I took the L, and let's just say that rest in peace to Shawty Low. After we found out that that was me, and he knew that was me, Low reached out to me himself and was like, let's straighten this situation out. And
like a real man.
Yeah, because they could have killed me, to be honest. You know, and it was like I thought that was the first time, honestly, man, I know a lot of people talk about stuff, but that was the first time I seen myself. Know it sounds crazy, but I seen myself within a second turn from a baby to the age I was then, like real quick, like that. Because the gun was on me like this, and I thought I was about to die. So they say I prepared myself to die. But, you know, that's all the detail I'm gonna give you about that. But let's just say that Low made everything right. And me and him never spoke on that situation. We hosted parties together, even up until his death. We would always have mutual respect. Because I felt like when you playing in the streets and stuff, like that's part of the rules that come with that. So we didn't. There was no reason for us to speak on that, you know, as men. And so, you know, rest in peace to Shawty Low.
New phase that y'all kept going as men. You know, he became who he was, Shawty Low, and you became who you are, Nitti.
Yeah, and we got the chance to work together. We got the chance to work together.
Was that awkward at first, or was it?
No, man, because it wasn't awkward. Because it's kind of like if I know what you've been doing and you know what I was out here doing,
you kind of even at
we
that.
kind of like, hey, we got you.
Yeah,
but
we're going
to let that go. Man, that's what it was, man. Because like I said, they spared me. You know, I wouldn't have been here.
They did, man.
Yeah, I thank God. So like I said, you know, with Low, man, at the end of the day, we got a chance to work on a record, a remix that I did called Get Big with my homie Duro out of Dallas. And I got Puff, Duro, Gotti, and Shawty Low happened to be on that record, man. And I was happy after that, man. But I always been a fan of Shawty Low, man. Rest in peace.
Boy.
And shout out to his family and Johnny Goodell, everybody, you know, that's part of that movement.
Hey, man, these type stories you get on Storytime with Legendary Jerry, only here. You can't get them nowhere else. Yeah. I'm Jerry Clark, a.k.a. the Legendary Jerry. I got a new face. My brother Nitti Beatz here.